New Thought Society.
Be great in act as you have been in thought. Act 3, Scene 1. A room in the castle. Enter King, Queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern into the scene. King speaks. And can you, by no drift of circumstance, get from him why he puts on this confusion, grading so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy? Rosencrantz replies, he does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak. Guildenstern adds, nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state. The Queen questions, did he receive you well? Rosencrantz responds, most like a gentleman. Guildenstern adds, but with much forcing of his disposition. Rosencrantz continues, negard of question, but of our demands most free in his reply. Queen questions, did you assay him to any pastime? Rosencrantz responds, Madam, it so fell out that certain players we o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and, as I think, they have already order this night to play before him. Polonius speaks, 'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter. King speaks, with all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose on to these delights. Rosencrantz replies, we shall, my lord. Exeunt Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from the scene. King speaks, sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawless espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved, if't be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for. Queen responds, I shall obey you, and for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors. Ophelia replies, Madam, I wish it may. Exit Queen from the scene. Polonius speaks, Ophelia, walk you here, gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved, that which devotion's visage and pious action we do sugar o'er the devil himself. King exclaims aside, Oh, 'tis too true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. O heavy burthen! Polonius replies, I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord. Exeunt King and Polonius from the scene. Enter Hamlet. Hamlet speaks, to be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing in them, to die, to sleep no more, and by sleep to say we end the heartache, and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. There's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life, for who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, thee fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered. Ophelia replies, Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day? Hamlet responds, I humbly thank you. Well, well, well. Ophelia replies, My lord, I have remembrance of yours, that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you, now receive them. Hamlet responds, No, not I never gave you aught. Ophelia continues, My honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich, their perfume lost. Take these again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord. Hamlet replies, Ha, ha, are you honest? Ophelia questions, My lord? Hamlet questions, Are you fair? Ophelia questions, What means your lordship? Hamlet replies, That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty. Ophelia questions, Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty? Hamlet replies, Truly, for the power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once. Ophelia replies, Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so. Hamlet continues, You should not have believed me, for virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not. Ophelia replies, I was the more deceived. Hamlet continues, Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between heaven and earth? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father? Ophelia replies, At home, my lord. Hamlet continues, Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in's own house. Farewell. Ophelia exclaims, Oh, help him, you sweet heavens! Hamlet responds, If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go, farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly too. Farewell. Ophelia exclaims, O heavenly powers, restore him. Hamlet continues, I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to, I'll no more on't, it hath made me mad. I say, we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live, the rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go. Exit Hamlet from the scene. Ophelia speaks. Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown! The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion in the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down, and I of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows. Now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see. Re-enter King and Polonius into the scene. King speaks. Love, his affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the seas and countries different, with variable objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brains still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you want? Polonius replies, It shall do well, but yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia, you need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen, mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him, where your wisdom best shall think. King replies, It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go. Exeunt all from the scene. End of Scene 1. Act 3, Scene 2. A hall in the castle. Enter Hamlet and players into the scene. Hamlet speaks. Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently, for in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends my soul to hear a robustious, periwig, pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant. It out hurrahs hurrahed. Pray you, avoid it. First player responds, I warrant your honor. Hamlet continues, be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you overstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, in the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. Now this overdone or come tardy off, though it make the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play, and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed, that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. First player replies, I hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir. Hamlet continues, oh, reform it altogether, and let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them, for there be of them that will themselves laughed, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, though, in the meantime, some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a most pitiful ambition in the fools that uses it. Go, make you ready. Exeunt players from the scene. Enter Polonius, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern. Hamlet continues, how now, my lord, will the king hear this piece of work? Polonius replies, and the queen too, and that presently. Hamlet responds, bid the players make haste. Exit Polonius from the scene. Hamlet continues, will you two help to hasten them? Rosencrantz and Guildenstern reply, we will, my lord. Exeunt Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from the scene. Hamlet continues, what, ho, Horatio! Enter Horatio into the scene. Horatio replies, here, sweet lord, at your service. Hamlet responds, Horatio, thou art e'en as just a man as e'er my conversation coped withal. Horatio replies, oh, my dear lord. Hamlet continues, nay, do not think I flatter, For what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Why should the poor be flattered? No, let the candid tongue lick absurd pomp, and crook the pregnant hinges of the knee, where thrift may follow fawning. Dost thou hear, since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been as one in suffering all that suffers nothing. A man that's fortune's buffets and rewards hast ta'en with equal thanks, and blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled, that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger, to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, in my heart of hearts, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkindle in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming. Horatio replies, Well, my lord, if he still aught the whilst this play is playing, and scape detecting, I will pay the theft. Hamlet responds, They are coming to the play, I must be idle, get you a place. A Danish march, a flourish, enter king, queen, Polonius, Ophelia, Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and other lords attendant, with the guard carrying torches into the scene. King questions, How fares our cousin Hamlet? Hamlet responds, Excellent, if faith, of the chameleon's dish I eat the air, promise crammed, you cannot feed Capon so. King replies, I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine. Hamlet responds, No, nor mine now. Hamlet speaks to Polonius, My lord, you played once I' the university, you say. Polonius replies, That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor. Hamlet questions, What did you enact? Polonius responds, I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed I' the Capitol. Brutus killed me. Hamlet replies, It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready? Rosencrantz responds, my lord, they stay upon your patience. Queen adds, Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me. Hamlet replies, No, good mother, here's metal more attractive. Polonius speaks to the king, Oh, ho, do you mark that? Hamlet questions, Lady, shall I lie in your lap? Hamlet lies down at Ophelia's feet. Ophelia replies, No, my lord. Hamlet questions, I mean, my head upon your lap. Ophelia replies, my lord. Hamlet questions, Do you think I meant country matters? Ophelia responds, I think nothing, my lord. Hamlet continues, That's a fair thought to lie between maidens' legs. Ophelia questions, What is, my lord? Hamlet replies, Nothing. Ophelia continues, You are merry, my lord. Hamlet questions. Who, I? Ophelia replies, Ay, my lord. Hamlet continues. O God, your only jig-maker, what should a man do but be merry? For, look you, how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours. Ophelia replies, Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord. Hamlet continues. So long? Nay, then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. O heavens, died 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life 1/2 a year. But, by Our Lady, he must build churches then, or else shall he suffer not thinking on. With the hobby horse, whose epitaph is, For, oh, the hobby horse is forgotten. The hautboys play, the dumb show enters into the scene. Enter a king and a queen very lovingly, the queen embracing him and he her. She kneels and makes show of protestation unto him. He takes her up and declines his head upon her neck, lays him down upon a bank of flowers. She, seeing him sleep, leaves him. Anon comes in a fellow, takes off his crown, kisses it, and pours poison in the king's ears, and exit. The queen returns, finds the king dead, and makes passionate action. The poisoner, with some 2 or 3 mutes, comes in again, seeming to lament with her. The dead body is carried away. The poisoner woos the queen with gifts. She seems loath and unwilling a while, but in the end accepts his love. Exeunt hautboys from the scene. Ophelia questions, What means this, my lord? Hamlet replies, Marry, this is mitching my echo. It means mischief. Ophelia replies, Belike this show imparts the argument of the play. Enter prologue. Hamlet continues, We shall know by this fellow, the players cannot keep counsel, they'll tell all. Ophelia questions, Will he tell us what this show meant? Hamlet replies, Ay, or any other show that you'll show him. Be not you ashamed to show. He'll not shame to tell you what it means. Ophelia replies, You are not. I'll mark the play. Prologue speaks. For us, and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently. Hamlet questions, Is this a prologue, or the posy of a ring? Ophelia replies, 'Tis brief, my lord. Hamlet responds, As woman's love. Enter 2 players, king and queen, into the scene. Player king speaks. Full 40 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbed ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands. Player queen replies, So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But, woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I distrust you. Yet, though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must, for women's fear and love holds quantity, in neither aught or in extremity. Now, what my love is, proof hath made you known, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fear grow great, great love grows there. Player King responds, Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My apparent powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and haply one as kind, for husband shalt thou. Player Queen replies, Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first? Hamlet speaks aside. Wormwood, wormwood. Player Queen continues. The instances that a second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed. Player King responds, I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Purpose is but the slave to memory, of violent birth but poor validity, which now, like fruit unripe, sticks on the tree, but fall unshaken when they mellow be. Most necessary 'tis that we forget to pay ourselves what to ourselves is debt. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending, doth the purpose lose. The violence of either grief or joy their own enactures with themselves destroy. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves, on slender accident. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. The great man down, you mark his favorite flies. The poor advanced makes friends of enemies, and hitherto doth love on fortune tend. For who not needs shall never lack a friend, and who in want a hollow friend doth try, directly seasons him his enemy. But orderly to end were I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead. Player Queen responds, Nor earth to me give food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow ever I be wife. Hamlet exclaims, If she should break it now. Player King continues, 'Tis deeply sworn, sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep. Player King goes to sleep. Player Queen, Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain. Exit players from the scene. Hamlet questions, Madam, how like you this play? Queen replies, The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Hamlet continues, Oh, but she'll keep her word. King questions, Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in't? Hamlet responds, No, no, they do but jest, poison in jest, no offense i' the world. King questions, What do you call the play? Hamlet responds, The Mousetrap. Marry, how? tropically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name. His wife, Baptista, you should see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what o' that? Your Majesty, and we that have free souls, it teaches us not. Let the gold jade wince, our withers are unwrung. Enter Lucianus into the scene. Hamlet continues. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king. Ophelia speaks. You are as good as a chorus, my lord. Hamlet replies. I could interpret between you and your love, if I could see the puppets dallying. Ophelia responds. You are keen, my lord, you are keen. Hamlet replies. It would cost you a groaning to take off my edge. Ophelia responds. Still better and worse. Hamlet continues. So you must take your husbands. Begin, murderer, pox. Leave thy damnable faces, and begin. Come, the croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Lucianus speaks. Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban, thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property on wholesome life usurp immediately. Lucianus pours the poison into the sleeper's ear. Hamlet speaks. He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant and written in very choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. Ophelia responds. The king rises. Hamlet exclaims. What, frighted with false fire? Queen questions. How fares my lord? Polonius adds. Give o'er the play. King replies. Give me some light, away. Polonius exclaims. Lights, lights, lights. Exeunt all but Hamlet and Horatio from the scene. Hamlet speaks. Why, let the stricken deer go weep, the heart ungalled play, for some must watch, while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away. Would not this, sir, and a forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, with 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes, get me a fellowship in a cry of players, sir? Horatio replies, half a share. Hamlet continues, a whole one, aye, for thou dost know, O Damon dear, this realm dismantled was of Jove himself, and now reigns here a very, very Pajak. Horatio responds, you might have rhymed. Hamlet continues, oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost's word for 1,000 pound. Didst perceive? Horatio replies, very well, my lord. Hamlet questions, upon the talk of the poisoning? Horatio responds, I did very well note him. Hamlet continues, ah ha, come, some music, come, the recorders. For if the king like not the comedy, why then, belike, he likes it not purdy. Come, some music. Re-enter Rosencrantz and Guildenstern into the scene. Guildenstern speaks. Good, my lord, vouchsafe me a word with you. Hamlet replies, sir, a whole history. Guildenstern continues. The king, sir. Hamlet questions. Ay, sir, what of him? Guildenstern responds. Is in his retirement marvelous distempered? Hamlet questions. With drink, sir? Guildenstern responds. No, my lord, rather with choler. Hamlet replies. Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to the doctor, for me to put him, his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more choler. Guildenstern responds. Good, my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair. Hamlet replies. I am tame, sir, pronounce. Guildenstern continues. The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you. Hamlet replies. You are welcome. Guildenstern continues. Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business. Hamlet replies. Sir, I cannot. Guildenstern questions. What, my lord? Hamlet continues. Make you a wholesome answer, my wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more. But to this matter, my mother, you say. Rosencrantz speaks. Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration. Hamlet replies. O wonderful son, that can so astonish a mother, but is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration? In part. Rosencrantz responds. She desires to speak with you in her closet, ere you go to bed. Hamlet responds. We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother, have you any further trade with us? Rosencrantz replies. My lord, you once did love me. Hamlet continues. So I do still, by these pickers and stealers. Rosencrantz responds. Good, my lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty, if you deny your griefs to your friend. Hamlet replies. Sir, I lack advancement. Rosencrantz questions. How can that be, when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark? Hamlet continues. Ay, sir, but while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Re-enter players with recorders into the scene. Hamlet continues. Oh, the recorders, let me see one, to withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me, as if you would drive me into a toil? Guildenstern responds. Oh, my lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly. Hamlet questions. I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe? Guildenstern responds. My lord, I cannot. Hamlet continues. I pray you. Guildenstern replies. Believe me, I cannot. Hamlet responds. I do beseech you. Guildenstern continues. I know no touch of it, my lord. Hamlet continues. It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look, you, there are the steps. Guildenstern replies. But these cannot I command to my utterance of harmony. I have not the skill. Hamlet continues. Why, look you now, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice, in this little organ. Yet cannot you make it speak. Splud, do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. Enter Polonius into the scene. Hamlet continues, God bless you, sir. Polonius responds, my lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently. Hamlet questions, do you see yonder cloud that's almost in the shape of a camel? Polonius replies, by the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed. Hamlet continues, methinks it is like a weasel. Polonius replies, it is backed like a weasel. Hamlet questions, or like a whale? Polonius replies, very like a whale. Hamlet continues, then I will come to my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will come by and by. Polonius responds, I will say so. Exit Polonius from the scene. Hamlet continues, by and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. Exeunt all but Hamlet from the scene. Hamlet continues, 'tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn, and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood, and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft, now to my mother, O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words soever she be shent, to give them seals, never my soul consent. Exit Hamlet from the scene. End of scene 2. Act 3, Scene 3. A room in the castle. Enter King, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern into the scene. The king speaks. I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so near us as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies. Guildenstern replies, we will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty. Rosencrantz adds, the single and peculiar life is bound with all the strength and armor of the mind to keep itself from annoyance, but much more the spirit upon whose weal depends and rests the lives of many. The cease of majesty dies not alone, but like a gulf doth draw what's near it with it. It is a massy wheel, fixed on the summit of the highest mount, to whose huge spokes 10,000 lesser things are mortised and adjoined, which, when it falls, each small annexment, petty consequence, attends the boisterous ruin. Never alone did the king sigh, but with a general groan. King responds, arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put about this fear. which now goes to free-footed. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern respond, "We will haste us." Exeunt Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from the scene. Enter Polonius. Polonius speaks, "My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras I'll convey myself, to hear the process. I'll warrant she'll tax him home, and, as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know." King responds, "Thanks, dear my lord." Exit Polonius from the scene. King continues, "Oh, my offense is rank, it smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest cursed upon't, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up, my fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen, may one be pardoned and retain the offense. In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law, but 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling, there the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul, that struggling to be free art more engaged! Help, angels, make essay! Bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well." King retires and kneels. Enter Hamlet into the scene. Hamlet speaks, "Now might I do it pat, now he is praying, and now I'll do't, and so he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him, and am I then revenged, to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No, up, sword, and know thou a more horrid hint, when he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at game, a swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in't, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother stays, this physic but prolongs thy sickly days. Exit Hamlet from the scene. King, rising from his knees, speaks. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Exit King from the scene. End of Scene 3. Act 3, Scene 4. The Queen's Closet. Enter Queen and Polonius into the scene. Polonius speaks. He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll sconce me even here. Pray you, be round with him. Hamlet speaks within. Mother, mother, mother. The Queen replies to Polonius. I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming. Polonius hides behind the arras. Enter Hamlet into the scene. Hamlet questions. Now, mother, what's the matter? Queen replies. Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended. Hamlet responds. Mother, you have my father much offended. Queen replies. Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue. Hamlet responds. Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue. Queen exclaims. Why, how now, Hamlet? Hamlet questions. What's the matter now? Queen questions. Have you forgot me? Hamlet responds. No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and, were it not so, you are my mother. Queen responds. Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can speak. Hamlet responds. Come, come, and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you. Queen questions. What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help, help, ho! Polonius from behind the arras. What? Ho! Help, help, help! Hamlet drawing his sword. How now, a rat? Dead for a ducat, dead! Polonius from behind the arras. Oh, I am slain! Polonius falls and dies. Queen questions. O me, what hast thou done? Hamlet responds. Nay, I know not. Is it the king? Queen exclaims. Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this? Hamlet exclaims. A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king, and marry with his brother. Queen exclaims. As kill a king? Hamlet replies. Ay, lady, 'twas my word. Hamlet lifts up the arras and discovers Polonius. Hamlet continues. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell! I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not brassed it so, that it be proof and bulwark against sins. Queen questions. What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me? responds. Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite. Take off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as Dicer's oath. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, in sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words, heaven's face doth glow. Yea, this solidity and compound mass, with tristful visage, as against the doom, is thought sick at the act. Queen questions, me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index? Hamlet responds, look here upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars, to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury, new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to food, and batten on this moor? Ha! Have your eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment, and what judgment would step from this to this? Since sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice, to reserve in such a difference. What devil was't that thus hath cozened you at hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense, could not so mope. O shame, where is thy blush, rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire, proclaiming no shame, when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself is actively doth burn, in reason panders will. Queen responds, O Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and green spots as will not leave their tint. Hamlet replies, nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty. Queen responds, oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet. Hamlet continues, a murder and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut-purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket. Queen exclaims, no more. Hamlet responds, a king of shreds and patches. Enter Ghost into the scene. Hamlet continues, save me and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure? Queen exclaims, alas, he's mad. Hamlet questions, do you not come your tardy son to chide, that, lapsed in time and passion, let's go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say. Ghost speaks, Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet. Hamlet questions, How is it with you, lady? Queen replies, Alas, how is't with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and, as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded airs, like life in excrements, start up and stand an end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look? Hamlet exclaims, On him, on him! Look you, how pale he glares! His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones, would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood. Queen questions, To whom do you speak this? Hamlet questions, Do you see nothing there? Queen replies, Nothing at all, yet all that is I see. Hamlet questions, Nor did you nothing hear? Queen replies, No, nothing but ourselves. Hamlet exclaims, Why, look you there, look how it steals away. My father, in his habit as he lived, look where he goes, even now, out at the portal. Exit goes from the scene. Queen responds, This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in. Hamlet replies, Ecstasy, my pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and make as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword. With madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul. Then not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will beskin and film the ulcerous place, wells rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them rancor. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times, virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good. Queen responds, O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain. Hamlet continues, Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the pure with the other half. Good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue, if you have it not. That monster, custom, who all sense doth eat, of habits devil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good, he likewise gives a frock for livery. That aptly is put on, refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night, and when you are desirous to be blessed, all blessing beg of you for this same Lord. Hamlet points to Polonius and continues, I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so, to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So Again, good night. I must be cruel, only to be kind. Thus bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady. Queen questions, what shall I do? Hamlet replies, not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the blowed king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and lead him for a pair of reechy kisses, or patting in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen, fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket of the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions in the basket creep, and break your own neck down. Queen responds, be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe. What thou hast said to me. Hamlet responds, I must to England, you know that. Queen replies, alack, I had forgot, 'tis so concluded on. Hamlet continues, there letter sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will address fanged. They bear the mandate, they must sweep my way, and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds, and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet, when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave, come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother. Exeunt severally. Hamlet dragging in Polonius. End of Scene 4 and end of Act 3.